Hey guys, how we doing? Mahano here again, working on the Ipsum once more. I'm gonna be changing the head gasket for this. Funny story, this is a head gasket actually. This is about the fourth time I've had to change this. Just so much heating issues with this car. It's old. Almost 250,000 miles on it. What else? Then I just a lot of bad luck when it comes to the heating problems. The thermostat, and the water pump, and the fans. But it's a old car, so hey, what else can you expect? So here we go. I'm gonna see if I can start uploading a lot more content. That'd be a little bit more consistent on YouTube. What I've done so far is I've already taken off the exhaust manifold. I have also already taken off the alternator. There he is over there. Isn't he just so cute? There you go. Let's see what else. Loosened a few hoses. Actually, no, just this one. And what I'm about to do is take off the crankshaft pulley. Though, if I remember correctly, I used some glue on it to help the bolt stay in nice and tight because I didn't have an impact with me. So it was kind of difficult having it spin, and I was a little too lazy to put like rope or, in the cylinder to block it up. So I just used the glue. It held in pretty good. Gasket shellac, head gasket shellac is what I use to be exact. So I've already taken off the alternator belt and the power steering belt, loosened the power steering belt to get that belt off. I'll show you how I did that when I start putting it back together. So what I have right now is apparently the glue kind of caused this to get pretty stuck. Normally I could just pull these off, but can't today. So I'm going to be using my handy dandy universal puller to take it off. Okay, so I've got the pulley puller on. I've got my wrench, which I'm adjusting because my regular wrench broke, so I have to use my little torque wrench, which is a 3/8. Now when it comes to this pulley puller, I really love this thing. Why? Because it's universal, and if you find yourself working on a few cars or cars kind of often, you're gonna need it. And unlike pullers that are designed specifically for their vehicle, this one is universal, so you could use it on just about every vehicle. Very simple to use too. You just adjust these grips, put it on the back of the pulley. That's why it's universal, because these are fully adjustable. You just after you get them where you want it, use these same bolts to lock it in to that position. And then put this on here and start cranking away. This bolt in the center pushes on that bolt right there, and on that together pulls the pulley off. Now what I'm going to be doing is just pulling it a little bit of the way. Once it breaks free from that glue and stuff, then I'm just going to pull it off with my hand. Last time I did this, I couldn't actually really just pull it off so easily with my hand, but I think I'm getting a little better at this, so here we go. Sandflies. Pain of living in the Bahamas. Mosquitoes and sandflies will kill you. Okay, please come off. Also, I'm recording this with my phone, so most of the stuff I'm gonna be doing is like trying to balance it with one hand, or see if I can balance this phone right here, so I could use my two hands. Okay, stay put. Thank you. That didn't work, so I'm gonna have to put the puller back on, put the bolt in just a little, and try to do this again. Okay, here we go. Get it in just a little. Get this puller, screw this out. Here we go. Let's move fast for the people. Okay, phone, adjust, please. There. Probably should have set it like this from the start, just to kind of pull it off kind of semi-fully with this puller. Yeah, this is coming off really easy now. I think I should be able to pull this off with my hand. So let me just move this puller. It feels really easy. So I'm screwing it in with my hand instead of having to use the wrench. Coming off pretty good. What the hell? Okay, awesome. Okay, yeah, I can still see where I had the grease in here. Having greased it, I'm surprised it came off. It was so hard to come off. But anyway, it's off. So let me just set this aside. I thought I was recording and turns out I wasn't, so let me start over. Damn camera. This came off with 3 10mm bolts. That's out of the way. I'm going to be loosening the pulley right there. That's the tensioner pulley to keep tension on the timing belt. I was trying to use a wrench 14, but it was a little tough, so I'm going to be using the ratchet so I can get some better leverage, hopefully. Sucked. Has much content too. Well, I mean, not so much, but anyway. Here we go. Giving all those good jokes for nothing. So anyway, here we go. Get this on there. Yay. Okay, now this is set to tighten. So we loosen. Okay. Now it's a little tight. Let my tension go. That should be enough. And it's not enough. Forgot, as long as you hear it clicking, probably should go a little further, because once it stops clicking, then it should be loose enough for you to just do with your hands. Yes, fun facts about ratchets. Also, for anybody who's new to mechanic work, I wouldn't really suggest you doing regular tightening and loosening with your torque wrench, but my other wrench broke. Oh, my second favorite. Do a little funeral service for that ratchet. It was so good. Anyway, yeah, because, you know, your torque wrench is like precision equipment and it's more expensive than a regular ratchet. So you want to save that for those moments where you specifically need it. But that's all I got. So it's what I got to work with right now. Because I don't want to run out and buy another ratchet. Money low. Okay, so that looks good to me. If I said this already, but you may notice that this area is very greasy. I have an oil leak, which I'm also going to be fixing today, as well as retiming this entire engine since I have to take off the timing belt. Yeah, I'm not gonna use the little marks that people normally use. I just do the full retiming thing because it's not that hard anyway. So. And I kind of hate putting the marks down. Once upon a time I put them down before and I lined it back up to them and the engine wasn't timed. I was like, the fuck? Anyway, now that I loosened that, let's take this timing belt off. You stay put, please. See, let me ask the grass to hold you. Yeah. Work alone, so I usually ask the grass to hold my stuff instead of friends. Don't have too many of those. Don't have too many of those. Okay. Come on, balance. Don't be difficult. Slide off. Come on, camera, focus. The people want to see what's going on. There we go. Now, even though I loosened up the tensioner, there's still generally like a spring holding the tension on the tensioner. So, you know, it's not going to be all that easy. Sometimes I take a breaker bar and I'll like move the tensioner away just to loosen things up, make it easy, but you know, I should do that. I should do that. Love this breaker bar. It's so much more than a breaker bar. It's like a breaker bar, a pry bar. Mind you, it's not designed to do all that stuff, but I do all that stuff with it anyway. What the hell? Shit, don't tell me I've been loosening the wrong pulley. As I look, let's see if I can loosen the wrong pulley. Okay, so crankshaft, oil pump. There's a water pump above it. Yeah, this is just a pulley. I've been loosening the wrong pulley. Shit. This is the tensioner pulley. Fuck a duck. Can't believe I did that. Anyway, that looks like that's about a 14 as well. How do I feel like I remember that being a 13 though? Anyway, let me get this 14 and test it out. Can't see shit. Okay, yes, it's focused now. Apparently it's a 14. And this camera sucks. Oh crap, I had it right with the first time. Okay, flip it. There we go. That's difficult. The freaking camera won't even focus. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha, bitch. Sweet. Okay, super. So, now that that's been loosened, no wonder the timing belt was so hard to come off. I didn't even have the right pulley. Okay, that's good. Okay, now, timing belt. Will you slip off for me, please? Please, I said please. I'm gonna push this down a little bit. We're just moving and stuff. Okay, now timing belt. Open sesame. Open sesame. Fucking don't come off. Damn you. When in doubt, flathead out. Okay, this might take a long time. Or you could be like a sensible person and just totally take all the tension off the pulley using your handy dandy breaker pry bar. So what I'm just gonna do is I'm just gonna put this breaker bar on said pulley that I'm gonna push down. And push it to the limit. Fuck, it's using my two hands. Okay, slip it off. Son of a dirty gun. I had to be so hard today. Stubborn ass. Oops, holding the camera wrong spot. I really hate this camera. Gotta upgrade zoom, and it keeps focusing on the spot and then unfocusing. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Okay, we'll stop between this bones and this. Put it here. Let me just try to get this out. Okay, super. I apologize if the cursing offends any of you, but this stuff is so frustrating sometimes. Okay, now that it's off, what I gotta do now, take that bone out of this pulley so that I could take this shield thing off the engine head. You know, if this was an episode of Sesame Street, I would have been all like, the number of today is 14. Because, shit, that thing's bad. Wasn't that before I took the thing off? Okay, I forgot, my bad. I have to take off the valve cover first, so I could put the adjustable wrench on the camshaft to hold it still, and then put the ratchet on this. So okay, let's get straight into that. Although what I was saying about the Sesame Street joke is most of these bones are like 14, especially consecutively, because that's a 14 too. So yeah, still on jokes. Let's go. Okay, guys. So fun fact: to get these spark plug wires out, what I generally do is when they're in there, I'll hold the wire part nice and tight, and then I'll grab this head and pull them up together as one. Because if you grab this wire part, this head part, right, and you pull it up, these Ipsum spark plug wires really suck. So if you pull this up, you'll find that this actually just goes back on the wire. And if you just grab the wire and pull it up, you're gonna find it pop. So when you hold them together, you generally get the best result regular when you pull as well. Okay, so this is 32 millimeter socket. I think these are about a 31 or a 30, but the 32 is what I have and it works. So that's what we're doing. Okay, loosen this up a little bit so I can do it with my hand. Okay, I'm gonna have to move that cable line. That one. This one. And this one. By the way, I'd love to hear from you guys, your comments and stuff, so I'm gonna drop them in the video. Yeah, do that. Mid-video, end of the video, beginning of the video, whenever you choose, you know. It's a free country. Clearly, because my tools are running away. There we go. I'm looking at you. Okay, so that's obviously two 12 millimeter bones. Let me just disconnect them really quick. Okay, 12. Got this. Just gotta kill my brain. Yeah! And another one. Yeah! Okay. Super, put that on the side. You know, it's faster to do this with your hands than to try to keep spinning that ratchet. So once I break them free and I can get them with my hand, that's what I do, because that saves time, and we all know time is money, right? Also, if we get this done faster, we could go and, you know, go to the bar a little sooner, spend more time in there than here. Sounds like a plan, right? Sounds like a plan to me. So anyway, here we go. Okay, those are off. And I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. So I just generally put all my nuts and bones like right up here. So after I'm putting everything back together, I know to just, you know, reach up here. But if you're a novice, which I'm not, and you want to make sure you remember what bones go where, as you take them out, right? Like how I move this from here, and I'll take this off and this off. Oh fuck, come. Stupid thing. Okay, what you're gonna want to do is, as you take them out, you're gonna want to put them right back in there, you know, so they don't get lost. You know where each one goes. You don't have to try to memorize. But I've done this about 3 times. Don't laugh at me. So yeah. Is this not the right bone? It has to be the right bone. Has to be. Oh yes, it is. There we go. But anyway, I'm not putting them in there because I know where they're gonna go. Plus, I have thousands of spares in the back. So here we go. That's off. Oh yeah. So where is my big chunky socket that likes to run away? Here he is. Camera focus, please. I hate you so much. Okay. I wonder if I could just do this by hand, because I don't think I did it that tight in the first place. Okay, cool. So I was wasting time with that ratchet then. No, I was making my life easier. Okay, so here we go. We're loosening it. Loosening it. Funny. Normally the valve cover nuts slash bones, normally bones, don't really look like this, but the Ipsum decided to do this. I don't know why I told Toyota decided to do this with the Ipsum. I guess they were trying out a new design, because this is a 99. So, you know, all sorts of innovations back then. I don't really like the bones like that, but to be honest, I think they're kind of nice. It's only 4 of them. Actually, normally it is 4, except for those V6. V6 normally have like a more. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Just keep doing it. Doing the things. Making things happen. Okay, so that's loose. Okay. Let me move this. Power steering. Wibe. And okay, that's everything for the valve cover, so this should be able to come right off. Pop up. You suck. Where'd I put my Phillips? Here we go. This is a new valve cover gasket, so it better not crack. Or else I'm gonna be upset. Oh, that was so easy. Funny though that I had to use a screwdriver. Thought I'd have been able to, like, you know, just pull it off. Because it's, like I said, it's relatively new. It's relatively new. Okay. Open sesame. Why aren't you coming? Okay, so right in the corner here, I could see. Okay, stand mute. The valve cover is kind of bumping into this. So let me just give it a wiggle. And a pull and a cry and a cry. Damn thing. Okay, I'll be right back. The key is to use two hands. So, friendly glass, do this for me, please. Thank you. Ah, you're always there for me. Now, we're back here, and this damn phone still has focusing problems. Couldn't imagine if he had to actually go to school to take an exam. Anyway, yeah, so we've got that on there, and we've got the camshaft here. So I'm gonna put a wrench on it, hold it in place, and try to take the wipe off. You know, the first time I took this engine head off, sludge was all kinds of places in here. But it's so much cleaner now that I've owned the car. Bought it used with 200,000 miles on it. Yeah, don't judge me. I'm not dumb. That was a silly thing for a regular person to do, but as a mechanic, you know, you check out the condition of the vehicle, and if it's, you know, good, plus these older cars are pretty cool, you know, they tend to seem to be a bit stronger than the newer models, you know. After like 2005, everything seems to start getting weaker. Like the general build quality of the whole thing is worse. But that's just my 2 cents. That's not like a fact, it's just my opinion, what I feel from what I've seen. Okay, so let's find a wrench suited for you. I think this 15/16 is usually what I have to use. Okay, let's check this out. Okay, 15/16 is a little bit on the jiggly side, but it won't work. Okay, I wish I could put this somewhere because I'm gonna need my 2 hands for this. Okay, 1 second again. Okay, guys, thanks to the gloriousness of having 2 hands, I was able to get this thing off. Of course, like I said, on this on one side, the 14 over here, and then what I did is I put the 13 on the 14, like so. So it gives me some extra leverage to get it off. Also, while I had my 2 hands, I took this on the way off, used the crowbar and along with the hammer to knock it up a bit. Because when I took the nuts off, you know, they came off perfectly fine. But this was so corroded in here on the piece that actually doesn't have threads that it didn't want to move. So I got a crowbar and a hammer, and I put the exhaust manifold back onto these bones so I could put the crowbar on here too. You know, crowbar sitting there kind of like this. Then I just gave it a few whacks. After I gave it a few whacks and it came loose, and I could, you know, had the crowbar like that. And I could actually get it off a bit. Then I use a flathead screwdriver, or standard slot if they call it, but we're not gonna be calling it that. And I got it off the rest of the way. Now that that's off, let me start knocking out the rest of this. Okay, so that's a 12mm. That's on this water line. Going to that, some type of inlet outlet manifold thing. So let me take this off real quick. Okay, so that looks like that's set to tighten there. Nope. Set to loosen. So here we go. Let's knock this out. I apologize for any of my poor cameramanship. That's a real word. But, you know, doing this by myself and I can't find my tripod. Ooh, it's crazy aggravating, but, you know. Just trying to be a little more consistent with my content and see if I can give you guys some videos that'll be actually helpful to you in life as you try to take on your little mechanic ventures. Fixing your own cars or maybe some of your friends' cars. Maybe you're just a hobby mechanic, an enthusiast, which is like a high level over hobbyist, or just want to fix some of your own cars so you don't have to go into that huge mechanic bill. It's all worth doing it, you know? It's cool stuff. Okay, so that's off. That's off. So the only thing holding on to this now is I have to loosen up some water lines on the throttle body, along with some power steering lines, which should be holding on to this. And then I have to release that fuel line in the back. Take these injector clips off. It's electronics. Let me do that now because I could do that pretty easily with one hand. I feel impressive right now. One-handed working. Funny, all of the orange ones, the clips on those are broken. How did I manage that? I guess they were just rotting. Yeah. Let me blame the car. Let me blame the car. Okay, so where's that fuel line again? Maybe I should just take the whole rail off. Yeah, that's what I did last time. I took the whole rail off. But if I don't do that, then these fuel injectors won't unseat. Because last time I did this, they were leaking, and then I had to put new seals in there because I took the whole rail off. It's not really the rail's fault. It's because the seals in there were bad. But bad seals, when it comes to these injectors, aren't really bad until you try to take them off. Because once they're a certain age, and then they crack or whatever. Yeah, but if you just leave them, they're kind of like concrete, where they won't really go bad, you know? Or at least you could at least get maybe like another 2 years out of it or something. So anyway, let me be a little more streamlined, and nothing is stopping from taking out these camshafts. So I'm going to. Oh no! No! Let me take off this gear first. So that's what this mission was about. Stay focused. Let me not follow the poor example of this camera. So I'm going to take that gear off. Then I'm going to take off this little metal shield here. And I'm going to need to for this. Because as I jiggle this doesn't look like this wants to come off. Oh, I lied. It looks like it does want to come off. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Be a good boy. Come off for daddy. This. Okay, that's a good boy. Now, when it comes to these things, they have a pin in the camshaft. You don't want to lose that. Because last time, well, the first time I did this on this vehicle, I had to do this a lot besides this vehicle. Had a lot of old coilers I used to work on. Anyway, so there's the pin right there. Sometimes it'll come out kind of easy. When it's stuck in there, like it was acting like it's welded in there, that's like the best thing ever. Because I lost one of these, so I couldn't put the car back together because I had to find it. Oh, my battery is getting low. That sucks. Yeah. So now that that's off, let me take off the shield. I think it's two 10mm bolts. Okay, so I did that thing. Torque wrench, which I shouldn't be using. And let's look for a 10mm bolt. I mean socket. I know they're right here because I put all of them here. And again, I had some out already, didn't I? I think I'm gonna need a shorty. Can't use the long one. Might be able to use the long one, but I'm not sure. Ouch. Oh. Been traveling on this road too long. Just trying to find my way back home. The old me is dead and gone. So you can't really see the bolt on the back here. So what I gotta do is feel for it. And once I find it with my hand, I'm gonna bring the wrench over and try to feel for it again. Okay, there we go. That was quick. I'm amazing. Okay, no more clicking. So let's go straight with the hands. Hit him with the hands. I think I give you guys a better angle. If I get any type of likes, views, or whatever, first thing that's gonna go towards this new freaking camera, because this thing sucks. Oh wow, this is taking forever. Ouch. Okay, 10mm bolt out, and second one. Now, if I remember correctly, this had either 3 or 4 at the beginning when I first worked on it, but because of the difficulty that those extra ones posed, and it was a little bit unnecessary for them, in my opinion, I just took them out and I kept them out. Just kept using car ever since, you know, no problems. Easy to replace the, take this off when I need to take it off. So I wouldn't suggest anybody as a novice like making changes to their vehicles like that. If it was on it, put it back on it. You know, if you're not sure. But me, I consider myself a bit of an engineer, because, you know, I just go deep like that. Okay, so get this. Love this bendy screwdriver. You're gonna need something like this. It's totally helpful. One of my first tools that I ever got for my mechanic work. It's a gift from my mother. So, anyway, see the spring down here. Oh, focus you damn camera. I hate you so much. It's a love-hate relationship, folks. And take it off. Preferably in a more controlled manner, though. And let's try to wiggle this guy off now. Oh, I forgot how to take this tensioner belt all the way off. Say belt. Pulley, my bad. Pulley. I have to use the right names. I know people in the comments actually gotta be like, ew, it's a pulley and he called it a belt. Yes, I did. But I corrected it. Okay, this is annoying. I'm gonna need my right hand for this. I'm right-handed. And I'm using the camera for my right hand, so be right back. Hey guys, so I do much work without you. Took the camshafts out. I don't really take them in any particular way, but when I take them out, I do try to keep the pieces on top to help make sure that they, you know, go back in the right spot. Like if they come out, I know where to put them, because they're labeled with, you know, I2, I3 meaning intake, so that's the intake cam, and E3, E4, and so on. This is the exhaust cam. But I don't know, for ease, this is what I do. Plus, I don't like them to really come off, because if they knock up against stuff and get scratches, that's going to cause the engine to be louder. Because if one piece gets scratched, basically transfers that scratch as it spins to the other piece, and then it just kind of starts fucking itself up. So yeah. What I also did, I took, like we talked about, this metal piece off. Not sure if I showed that in the previous clip. Yeah. Oh, on that's out. I also disconnected this fuel line. See that connects to here on this fuel rail to the filter over here. Yeah, not sure if you could really see that. Yeah, I took this off. It's pretty simple. There's a little clip. It's green. You just squeeze those two pieces in and then pull it off. If you're pulling it off and it's not coming off, then you push it down and then pull it off, and it comes off pretty easy. Sometimes you might have to give it a little wiggle or whatever. Let's see. So now on the fuel rail, there's these little tubes in the back here. Can't really see it. You gotta feel for it. Feel for it. I'm not really feeling much for it. What the hell is going on? Oh, here it is. Actually, you can see it. Let's try to give you a good view. Where my hand is. Yeah. So this clamp here, just gonna pull it off. I think it's so old that I should probably, even without releasing the clamp, just be able to pull it off. Let's see. Yay! Love an easy job. With that being said, that clamp needs to replace, and you can see in this hose, there's little cracks. So it's about time for the hose to go too. But it works for me, it doesn't leak, so I'm just gonna push it back on. This has been like this for about 2 years now, so no problem. So why replace what isn't broken? Save some money, save some more time. Although if you're one of those people that hates sticking around in your vehicle, I would suggest you, as you see things like that, just replace them out, because that way you wouldn't have to keep being in and out, in and out. You just replace things as you see they're about to go bad while you're in the hood, because it makes it feel like the work is a lot easier. But if you're being honest, you're spending more money on parts. Okay, so let's get back to it. What I am going to do next is make sure that all of these hoses here connected to the throttle body sensor and throttle body are disconnected. These 3 hoses, nothing really special to them. Just make sure the clamps are pulled down, disconnected, you know, hold it with pliers and pull it down. And if you don't really see what I'm talking about, it's these 3 hoses in the back here. You gotta make sure all of the electronics are disconnected, the wires, or else when you get to pull the head out, it's gonna be a difficulty. Normally when I'm pulling the head out, I would remove this here, because this is really a hassle. Because it's just generally in the way. It takes up too much space. But I'm gonna see if I could go today without pulling it out, because I've done this a few times, so I kind of get the gist of it. Okay, so getting back at it, like I said, you just took the 4 hood bolts off the hood. Sorry about the disturbance. I got a call and I'm using my phone to record, so that was like yeah. So anyway, what are we getting at now? So hood, engine. Okay, so we're gonna take off the rest of these electrical connections and these hoses. Shit, what did I drop? Okay, anyway. So, since this should only take 1 hand, because I'm amazing. Okay. This is a little hard to see with the camera. Actually, the camera could probably get in here the best. Okay, phone charged up a little bit, so we're back right here with the yellow good down. Nothing. From under here, with the tire off, we could get a little bit of a visual of the back here. See, there's going to be a ground wire at the back of the intake manifold that you gotta take off. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it should be there. Actually, I think I placed it somewhere else easier, but you could see all of those power steering lines and such. But what I find to be easier is just to kind of look from here, but don't reach from here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the top of the hood and do it by feel, get all that stuff off, and come back here, take a peek, see how it looks. If it looks like something's still connected, then I go back to the top, try to feel it out, and you know, wash, rinse, repeat until everything's off. Here we go. I'm gonna need my 2 hands though, so. That ground wire that I was talking about, you can see the lot wires where it's going to right now with this light. So I'm just gonna this phone sucks. So I'm just gonna feel it out in the back with my trusty 10mm ratcheting wrench. Okay, another trick I like to use, right, is what I'll do is I'll take these bolts out of the engine head and start pulling on the engine head, and where I feel the kind of stress or strain, like something's still holding it, I'll look in that area. I mean, that just kind of helps me to work faster. But you want to be very careful when you're doing that, because you don't want to pull too hard and end up popping something. So it's best for you to just make sure you have everything loosened from the start. But when you're having trouble finding everything, it's a helpful trick. Okay, let me put this down so I could take these bolts out for the engine head. And also, just a quick little thing. These are 12-point 12mm bolts. I always use a breaker bar when getting these things out. And when you're taking them out, you want to either start from the center and like move your way out, or start from the outside and move your way in. Depending on what car you're working on, the manual will say whatever, but that's honestly kind of universal information. I go either. So crack it, get it loose, crack the next one, get it loose, crack the next one, crack all of them, and then I'm gonna go by hand and spin them out, spin them out, spin them out. You know, not taking all the pressure off of just one little area before moving on to the next one. And when I'm putting it in, I'll put them all in as far as I can by hand. Then from the outside or from in the center, I'll start putting them in like 10 pounds. Then I'll jump to like 20 pounds, and then I know for the Corona it's 44 pounds is the max torque. So from 20 I'll go straight to the 44. You know. So if I'm going from the outside, I'm gonna do this 10, that one 10, then keep doing them all 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, then start over 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, and then 44, 44, 44, doing it in stages, you know, so it really gets to sit down nice and even. Also I should mention, we're gonna be trying something new today, because normally you would, after you get your head out, you take it to the shop, have them shave them down, cost you $40, but we're doing this on an extremely tight budget, so we're going to be using RTV Silicone today. Yeah. Oh, and I don't recommend any of you to do that. Take it to the shop, do it properly, but we're going to be doing a test today and just see if it works. Hell, you know, this might help somebody else who can't make it to a shop or whatever, need their car like right away, they're doing it themselves, you know. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so got that stuff off. Move down that good stuff out the way. Took that air filter out, because when you're working with this stuff, it gets so dirty. You have a high chance of getting your air filter dirty, and you know, you don't want that, because that means you're gonna have to change it out sooner. Also, with all this air filter assembly off, it's a lot easier to reach these hoses and back here and get them off. So you don't even want to try doing that without this off. So what I'm gonna do now is pull these wires out. And you know, this is a little clip here, for which you just have to like push up and then pull off. Hold on, push up and pull off. There we go. And you know, same thing over here. Chuka, it's stuck. So you push it up with a fingernail. If you don't have fingernails, use a flat screwdriver. That might sound like a joke to many of you, but I know a lot of people who don't have fingernails. Anyway, and now I gotta kind of fish this wiring harness out of the way, so let me get to that. Okay, so we've got the engine head out. What the hell? Sorry about that. Something was touching my head, either a butterfly, a wasp, or a fly. Anyway, they're gone now, so we'll never know. Anyway, so these spark plugs could really teach you a lot about the health of your engine. For example, these two cylinders are in much better condition than these two cylinders. These two cylinders here is basically where we had the failure. But let me go to the good cylinders first. See how you can see this little glaze here? Yeah, that's the good stuff. It's like it's reaching the nice heat. It's not using too much fuel, not too much air. It's just perfectly balanced. So we get this little glazy texture here. It's been in there for a while, so it looks like so. And we have this one here. This one is about the same, if I remember correctly. I had to change the spark plug. Can't really remember. But anyway, both of these are generally perfectly good, what you want to see. It looks like the spark plug here, the gap on it is a little off though. So I'm gonna adjust that before I put it back in. Now, as I go over here, as you can see, these cylinders are really oily looking. Also, when you go over on this one, you can see a lot of wetness, which is horrible. You don't want any type of water in these. That's, you know, a clear sign that you're having a failure when you have wet plugs with, you know, water. But let's get into the head gasket part of it. When you look over on these sides, like we've got the corrosion, these holes. You're not really seeing the full size of the holes because there's a little bit of the head gasket material left on there, but it's not that much, so. Anyway, this is good. Nothing is really dipping into this circle here. Anything going beyond this circle, the cylinder's well compromised because it's not gonna hold pressure. Go over here. This one looks even better when you look around it. But when you come over here, this one looks like it's pretty good. You know, it looks good. But then when you start looking right here, you realize there's this little hole going in. So it's pretty good, really, all in all. It's pretty good. But if it were me, which it is, I'm gonna put a little patch up in here, maybe even close off this hole entirely, just to make sure that it doesn't go bad too fast. And we're doing a little crazy experiment, so definitely gonna close it off. Now this one is the absolute worst. Why? If we close in right here, that's like two ginormous holes. So that is like beyond compromised. And then we come up here, and we could see, well, actually this is right away from that, so that's not so bad. Not so bad. Okay, cool. Let me look in between it. Okay. You know, we just might pull this off with this gasket shit. I mean, experiment that we're doing. So here we go. Also, my intake manifold has a leak, so I'm gonna be fixing that as well. And by the way, when it comes to exhaust manifold seals and intake manifold seals, I really do not recommend any type of, you know, the metal gaskets. The composite gaskets, the paper gaskets, they just tend to work so much better. The composite more than the paper. I put a metal gasket here on the intake manifold, and that's why it's leaking. For the exhaust manifold, the metal gasket is fine. I've never had a failure with the exhaust with them. Plus, you're dealing with some serious temperature, so yeah. But when it comes to the head gasket, the silicone I'm going to be using is exhaust manifold RTV, because that takes high temperature. That takes some seriously high temperature. And when it comes to the engine head, I think that's the most important aspect if you want the gasket to, you know, work out. Because, yeah, heat and pressure. Heat and pressure. Okay, let's get it. Also, when you're doing engine heads, you might find that your block has some damage, so you might have to actually take the block out and get it shaved down. Most of the time that doesn't happen because in most cases the block is iron, which this is. That's an aluminum head, and this is an iron block. You gotta love that. That way the head goes, but the block stays good. It's a lot harder to take the block out. Well, at least I really hate taking the block out more than the head. So, check it out. That cylinder is so bad. You know, that last one we were looking at. Look at how the water just settles into it, into the cylinder. Don't have that on any of these other ones. To be honest, I already knew that was happening because when I used to start the car, it would go and then it would like stop and pause, and then be like going over and over and over, and then it start up. So yeah, I expected to see this. If you had to do some work on the steering rack, it would be a nice time to do it. Steering rack is so nicely visible, along with the mount and the back hair. How nice. You better stay in good condition because I'm putting this head back on. Also, this would be the best time for you to change your plugs, water plugs. Got some in the back here too. This damn phone is again crying, battery too low, so no flash for me. Takes so damn long to charge. But anyway, I could barely see the screen as I stretched to try and hold this phone in place. Fuck you, Alcatel. Let's do a little fun. Okay guys, so this is how I apply RTV Silicone. Just put a little hole in it. That's a small little thing. Probably so the hole is probably like 3/16 of an inch, or maybe an eighth. Might be a little bigger if I'm having trouble getting the silicone to come out, because hey, I hate that. So anyway, once again I'm putting this down with one hand because I'm amazing. I love a nice continuous bead. Try not to let it build up too much. Try not to let it be too thin. And you want it to kind of push it down so it kind of really forms on that, what I'll call the base metal or base or whatever. Okay, that's a little thicker than I like. A little difficult with one hand, I guess. My phone is making it, I don't know, a little trickier. So I guess I just need to go a little faster, because when you go a little faster, oh wow, air bubble. Didn't see that coming. You go a little faster, it like stretches it out, which is good, but you don't want it to stretch it too much. I'm getting a bit of resistance on this. Almost like something's clogging this. Nope, we're good. Damn, I just looked at the camera and noticed that was a little off. I want you guys to be able to see everything. Sorry about that, my apologies. Okay, now for this one. There we go. Lift it a little. I try to keep it as low to the metal as possible. That kind of helps it to, you know, like really attach itself to the metal, which is what you want. That way, hopefully, if you have to ever take it off, the RTV will stick to one side more than the other, which means you wouldn't have to really RTV it again. You would just go and be able to stick it back on. Also, you don't want to put it too close to the inside, because you don't want any of this stuff, like, because when I put this on, this is definitely going to like thin out and spread out, which is why you want to do as little as possible while still putting enough to make sure that it has a good seal, because you don't want the engine to suck this up and like it clog any valves. But that looks pretty good, so I'm gonna leave that for about 5 to 10 minutes so we can kind of dry and just become maybe slightly tacky or just a little bit hard. And then I'm gonna put this intake manifold back on. Also, this phone is so lousy. As I was recording, it started to lag, and it's like I'm not even running anything in the back or getting any phone calls or messages. I've never seen a camera lag like just like, oh wow, this is taking too much processing power. Like wow. Quick tip: when you're covering this back up for storage, make sure not to tighten this cap too much. These break pretty easily from over torquing. So the mating surfaces on this intake manifold were nice and greasy, and normally I'd leave it like that because it helps for, you know, to keep the seal on one side. But let's face it, this is a 3S FE engine, so this intake manifold doesn't really want to come out without me taking out the entire head. So I'm gonna just clean it up, make sure I get a nice permanent seal between the two, so I'll hopefully never have to take this off again. Yeah. Okay, so we'll find things to do about that intake manifold seal dries. Now then, my people, when you see these little holes, those are mostly for the water to flow through. Goes from the block to the head, from the head to the block, and so on. So you're gonna want these to be nice and clear, right? So any type of dirt or gunk you find in these, you just want to take it and just flick it out of there. Get out of here. Make sure it's nice and open, clean. If you happen to have one of these and it's really close to this little ring here that you could see, then you're gonna wanna probably get some exhaust patch like the clay or putty and stuff that thing closed. That way you wouldn't have a leak with the pressure and end up with like a blown gasket. But all of these are nice and far away from those cylinders, so I'm just gonna make sure all of these are nice and opened up to give me a better chance at making sure my gasket doesn't blow. Because if you have like 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, even 5 or so, a lot of these could be like fully closed up. But if you have like half closed up, then you're not going to want to go beyond that. And as much of these that you could have open, then that's what you want to do. Because, for example, your fans and water pump, they work to get the engine cool. And if these are closed up, the more of these that are closed up, the harder your cooling system will have to work to make sure your car doesn't, you know, run into those severe problems. So, yeah, this one is closed up. Shit. I guess this was closed up from the first time, and I guess I didn't open it up. Nope, that's not so bad. I know I cleared all of these up from that first time. Yeah, it's just this most recent head gasket problem. No, I'm sure I saw one of these that was closed up. Here it is. Like a soldier wearing camouflage. Yeah, there we go. Love this car. It's old, but it's reliable. Oh, oil pump is working. Fuck. No, after I put the silicone on this and let this start to get this set, I'm gonna need the most help getting that back in. Just doing it by myself is just too heavy. I'm gonna need some help. Okay guys, for speed I like to use a drill or impact to put the nuts in. The drill is a little safer, make sure you don't like tear any threads. I have my torque wrench set to 240 inch-pounds, which is 20 foot-pounds. I'm just gonna feel it out, see if that feels like it's enough. and I'm gonna torque these actually from the middle and spread out, and like I normally do, I'll give it a twist. Okay, that one's pretty good. Give this one a twist. You know, we're not going straight up to 20 on these. Give it a little turn and you know, make sure it's nice and even, not rushing it, so it could sit down as flatly as possible. I don't think flatly is a word, but I said it. That's my bosses. My shaky ass camera skills. Okay, now back to the middle. Maybe if it's at the 20, so you should probably hear the click. Okay, 20 feels like it's a lot, so I'm actually gonna turn this down to maybe 18 or 15. Yeah, let me turn this down to 15. Okay, I can't really show you that because I need both my hands. Turn this down to 15 and see what that gives us. Okay, that one is already 15 or beyond. Okay, 15 isn't really much, so let me take this back to 18 foot-pounds. Sorry for the madness with this camera. Okay, 18 feels pretty good. Normally you would use your manual and like torque it to spec, but when it comes to these smaller bones, I kind of just do it to feel, you know. Okay, that's that one. Okay, that's that one. That's that one. Give me my socket. Hey guys, I was all out of ultra gray. I meant to say ultra copper silicone. Getting a little late now though. Not sure if I'll be able to finish this video tonight. So anyway, let's get started. I mean, this isn't anything like set in stone or factory what I'm doing. This is a little bit of a wonky project. I'm just gonna be applying silicone. This ultra gray. Ultra copper. High heat exhaust silicone. So basically the plan is these holes is what I'm going to be focusing on. I'll be clogging this up. I actually think I'm going to leave this because it's not really going beyond this. So this I'll probably totally clog up along with actually looks like that's the only one. Like the other sides of this are looking kind of bad, but they're not so bad that I have to try to clog them up. Just this one right here. The other ones, they'll be pretty good after I put the silicone on this and the engine head gasket. So I'm gonna get started and let you see how it looks afterwards. Okay, so this is how it looks so far. It looks a little grayish because there was some residue from the ultra gray in it that mixed with the ultra copper. I don't know why they call it ultra copper, they should call it ultra orange. I was gonna try to reuse the old head gasket, but after seeing this corpse, I said, let me bring out the new one. So, the new one will definitely give us a better chance than using the old one. But you know, I thought, hey, in the spirit of fun, let's try it out. But using that old one does not look like one. Plus, when I brought it out, it seemed to have hooked on something and bent to some ungodly shape. Well. Folks, I thought that this phone was horrible in the day. Check out in the night. A complete quality drop. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna finish this in the morning. Not gonna try to do it now. Why is this thing acting like it's jammed? So anyway, yeah. I'm not even gonna attempt to do this all tonight, because besides the fact that the quality dropped, and I would really like for this video to look nice. Something's biting me shut. I tell you, these sound files, they don't play. On gangsters. Anyway. Okay, here we go. I think I'm record me doing this with the block, and then that'll be it for me tonight.
Hello.
Then yeah, it'll be it for me tonight. Because I don't like this drop in the quality.
For what? Oh, almost there. Oh, wow, we're getting bitten. Sideways. We've penetrated the off. Almost there. This is actually running my own, to be honest. This doesn't feel as easy as it normally is. I think there must be some sort of clump in there. Jamming this thing up.
Isn't necessary. You know, this is where the oil comes up, so let me spread this out even thinner. I really don't want anything to fuck that up. I'm gonna disconnect the. Let me not mention that now. Okay, so this is it for tonight. I'll finish this up in the morning. Okay, let me add this in. I have little faith about me putting this this head gasket on of this. As a little faith, I mean, this is gonna rub like crazy. It's gonna be messy. So it's tough to get out. I'm sure it's gonna be tough to get in. In fact, it always is tough to get in. Since, like I said, this is the third time I'm changing this. So I'm just gonna put a little extra silicone on the top here. Even though I put a little on the head itself. Ooh, these things are biting. This is supposed to be a little. So let me just do this. And when I'm putting this back together, I'm gonna have to probably run the oil pump. So if anything is like around that oil pump hole where I put the stuff, there's silicone. I'm gonna have the valve cover off, so I'm gonna spin it with the drill and let it just kind of blow out again. I'm probably not gonna record that part, but I'll just let it blow out again, so if there's any silicone that wanted to like come up from there to clog something up, it'll just shoot out and be free. Ow, Jesus. I feel like that mosquito just bit me with a bee's stinger. That was rough. Damn. See, this is why I can't wait to finish. I'm working in my shop. So after I get my shop, I'll have a nice controlled environment. Wouldn't be outside working. Oh, I hate the outdoors. Well, at least I hate them right now. Wouldn't have to be working in this dirt and sand and stuff. Because, like I said, I've got a little fire going to build smoke. I'm wearing off, and they're still biting me. Oh, frig. Okay, yeah, so this pretty much wraps it up here. Woo-wee! They are biting. They are biting. Okay, one more thing I'd like to add. There's this clump here, right? And what it is I need this to harden a little bit so that when I put this on the engine head, I need this to be a little tough, because I'm gonna let it just sit on there overnight so it can get on nice and hard. So I have the heat gun on it right now, just to help it dry just a little bit faster. So, you know, I could make quicker work of this, because I'm gonna rest this head on tonight. So everything could just, you know, get comfortable together. Then I'll just torque it down tomorrow. So yeah, good luck to me. Okay, so the head's back on. I did it 10 pounds, then 20 pounds, just to make sure everything's sitting nice and even. So now this could dry on that silicone could set, and in the morning, actually tomorrow afternoon, I'll torque it down the rest of the way and see what happens. Okay guys, we're back. The head's in. I torqued it down to 47 foot-pounds, and I am here with the compressor hose, guys. It got a little sandy in there. I admit I blew it out a little without you guys, but I'm gonna finish that up right now. I like to use the air hose just to get on the sand up. Pretty effective. Making sure to spray into these little holes where the threads where the bolts go through, you know, for the camshaft. I'm getting the dirt and sand out. As normal, we're having focusing problems with the camera because, you know, I could tell. If you don't have a compressor, you could buy like a can of brake fluid or some WD-40. I use both. I think the brake fluid works the best when it comes to cleaning off threads and generally cleaning down anything. But if you know, the WD-40 leaves some lubricant in that. But it's better for you to use the brakes cleaner, because what I like to do is grease all of my bolts. So when it comes to the camshaft and so forth. But okay, let's get into that. Okay, so I was just cleaning this up with the rag off camera, because it's a little impossible to do with one hand, or else, you know, this thing's gonna fall. Normally you want to use a nice clean rag, but I'm a professional, so I'm allowed to use the dirty ones. It just makes it easier when you use a clean one, you know. It ensures that you're not gonna be putting like sand or dirt onto it instead of taking it off of it. But this one isn't so bad. And after you wipe these up, shit, I told you this was impossible to do with one hand. So anyway, after you wipe these up, you wanna grease it. Let me see if I can get this into position. I might actually have the time lapse for this. Keep still, goddamn you. Haha. Told you I was professional. Okay. And also, you're gonna wanna wipe up the head here. I already gave it a little wipe. See, I'm with the German's touch on the camshaft, which is this area right here. You gotta wipe them up, make sure that they're nice and clean. Um, I used to grease these and these parts on the camshaft, but then I realized, honestly, I was just kind of overdoing it because this grease is, once you put it on one side, it transfers over to the next side because it's not like I'm applying it all that thin. Alright, I could just stop making so much noise, thank you. What next? Okay, so the grease I'd like to use personally is the marine grease. It's high temperature resistant. It says multi-purpose, doesn't say anything about high temperature here, but it does on the back. Excess of 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. So I like high temperature grease, and I like this marine grease because it's water resistant, but I think all grease is pretty much water resistant. But anyway, it's not that expensive at $8. I wish I was paying less, $9 actually with VAT. But hey, I like it. I've been using it for a long time and it works well, so I trust it. So, I'm happy. I gotta see if I can find someone to sell it to me a little cheaper though. I feel like I should only be paying $6. Call me cheap, but yeah. So, sorry. Get this. I know a lot of my shots might not be super awesome. I'm still trying to get into it, guys. So be patient with me. I really appreciate it. And as for, I know some of you like to get straight into the work, not so much talking, but like I said, I'm just getting into this and I want to try to make sure that I cover everything with you guys, not send you out there to do like only half the information. I want you to know everything and why you're doing everything. Also, I would like to add that these spots here, these journals, you're going to want to protect these with your life. You don't want these to get scratched at all, because once these get scratched, once you put it back in, it's going to spin, and it's going to start scratching up the journals in the head. Those. And then it's going to cause the engine to just be louder, and you don't want that. You want your engine to be nice and quiet. So when you go to your friends and you open up your hood, you can feel proud and show off and not embarrassed. Okay, so right quick, let me show you how to time these camshafts. And for those of you who don't know, the camshaft timing is very important, or else the total timing of the engine is going to be off. After we do the camshaft timing, then we've got to do the timing with the belt, and then that'll be all the timing done. So, the back here of these camshafts, just imagine they're in the engine. You're gonna want to look for these little spots in between the teeth. I'm not sure if you can see that. Hopefully you can. Right here, focus Alcatel. And there's one here. So, like I said, these are in between the teeth. Now, on the intake camshaft, you're going to want to find the marks that are on the teeth. The marks here that are on the teeth match up with the marks that are on the intake cam's teeth will match up with the marks that are between the exhaust camshaft's teeth. And that'll give you your good old super timing. Okay, let me realign these a little bit, because it's a little difficult. Phone just won't focus. I mean, we know it's no good, but still, it should be able to at least finish this video, right? Okay. So they should be able to spin and get into each other. So, come on, focus, camera, focus. Wow, sound flash coming out again. Okay, so just like that. Now I'm getting here. See? Now when you spin, they're gonna mash up. and you want to make sure these are oriented so when they do spin, the other two other marks are gonna meet up. Damn, I put on long sleeves so the mosquitoes can't bite my arms and they go for the neck. We got real vampires out here, folks. This phone just won't do the things. Okay, not sure how well you could see that, but that's the markings and that's how you time it. Oh, it's a little dirty. Yeah, I can see it better now. Yeah, just like that, inside the engine. Okay, I'm not sure how well you could see it, but that's how you want these markings to line up, just like that. Okay, guys, we're getting close to the end. Hooray! Now these are the little what I like to call caps or brackets for the camshafts. They're labeled, so they're not too hard to misplace. But I generally try to keep them together so they wouldn't, be hard to put back together. Sometimes the heads are really bad. These numbers and letters are really hard to see. So anyway, that's I4, I3, I2, I1, and then this one is pretty obvious because this is for the, this housing around it is for the seal on the camshaft, and only the intake camshaft has that front seal. So yeah, I is for intake, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. The arrows should be pointing towards the front of the engine, or at least towards the camshaft pulley with the timing belt connects. And then we've got our exhaust guys over here. Now, like I said, these are basically just as important as the journals on the camshafts themselves. So you want to look under here, make sure that they're nice and clean. Probably put a little bit of grease on them too. But I like to just grease up the camshaft itself pretty nice, so I don't really grease up anything else. So I'm just gonna make sure that these are nice and clean, no sand or debris. Need 2 hands for that, so. Okay, so let's start dealing with these bones. So what I'm gonna be doing is just dipping into my little cup of grease. And what that does is by putting the grease right on the tip of the thread there, when I put that in, the grease is gonna go down there, and as I screw it in, it's gonna push the grease down, so the entire bolt and all of the threading that the bolt goes into gets some grease. Really simple, really easy. No bunch of, special techniques. Just dip it in, put it on. Okay guys, we got all of the camshaft bolts in, hand tightened. Some give me a little bit of resistance. I guess how this thing is sitting kind of crooked. I'm going to show you how I'm going to deal with that right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 5/16 wrench, which is a little too big, but it works. And I'm going to look at which one of these lobes is causing it to be high. Okay, it's this one right here. So, the fastest way to get it to drop down is to spin it clockwise, if you look at it like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this wrench right here, then I'm just going to spin the whole thing slowly. Also, it's important to keep in mind that you're keeping your engine on top dead center. I have mine on top dead center already, so I know that this piston right here is all the way to the top. So the last thing I want is for anything to be pushing these valves down on this one, because that'll be problems. But anyway, we're spinning this by hand, so we won't be able to feel the resistance anyway. It's not like we're running the engine where it's just going to automatically give us a failure. So here we go. Okay, just a little bit more. The valves on the other side are starting to get pressed down. Yeah, like I said, you could feel it. You don't want to force anything. Oh, wow. My bad. Hit the camera. So, don't want to force anything. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, I actually can't grip this side anymore. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go over here. And I'm going to turn this counterclockwise because I don't spin the other one clockwise. Okay, that's good, I guess. Kind of jump back, but hey, if that's as far as it could go, we'll make that work. Okay, I don't really tighten these down in any specific pattern, but what I do is I'm gonna look at the one that's down the most in terms of these brackets and this. The intake cam is sitting the lowest, like closest to what it's supposed to be in right now, so I'm gonna do the intake cam first. If it was the exhaust cam sitting nice and straight, then I'd have done the exhaust first. 10 foot-pounds on these. Well, then I need to take off this extension. Okay, torque these things down to 10 foot-pounds. Let's try to get it nice and even.
What? Last. Okay. Well, at least
Same thing. Focus where I tell you to focus. Morning. So I'm tightening down the others cause that one to come up kind of high. So I'm just do it down by hand. Okay, now this guy. Now we're gonna look to make sure that our marks is still on. Just because I think double checking is a good idea. And yes, they are. You guys would not believe how difficult it's been making this video. The camera app on this phone keeps crashing. I've never even heard of a phone's camera app crashing since I started using this one. Anyway, so I've got the exhaust looking nice and straight now. What I did is I just tightened this one down first since it was down the most. Then I actually came here and then tightened this down. So I was gonna proceed to hand tighten these screws because, you know, since it went down so much, screws aren't really holding on anything. Let's hand tighten it. And then I'm going to proceed to put the 10 pounds on these. Torque it down. So yeah, you want every bone torqued. That's a must. Can't get around that. And some nice grease. Okay, these ones are very stiff. I don't have to take these out and put them back in. Not sure what went wrong here. Actually, as I take them out, they get easy. Not this one. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna have to hit him with the shoulders. I mean the ratchet. I hope this video blows up so I can buy a new camera. Guys, got them all down pretty nicely now. This one on the end is a little funny because I tried to do it by hand and it wouldn't go all the way down. So I was like, okay, maybe he needs to, you know, cross threading somewhere and needs to clean out. But what I did is I took the ratchet and I tried to do it down a little bit, and it turned perfectly fine and easy. So it's like just above the what's the word, strength of my hand. So anyway, I just put them all the way down. But like I say, you don't want to force it. If you were turning it and you find like there's a lot of resistance on that, you know, it's fighting back, don't force it because you want it to be consensual. So just take the bolt out, clean up the threads again, put it back in, grease the bolt over. Might be a piece of sand or something stuck in there. But for me, it was just, I don't know, my hands just couldn't do it. But as soon as I put on the ratchet, it starts turning easy like butter. I'm like, how can I not be doing this with my hand if this is so easy? Anyway, so let's put our 10 pounds on these. Focus, damn you, camera. Jeez, focusing is asking for a lot. I just want this thing to stay on. Just keeps cutting off. Alcatel makes some pretty good durable bubblers. You know, phones that have like no features, just call. Got one like 7 years ago and it still works fine. My aunt has one, so she got it, I think, about 14 years ago. Still works fine. But as for these smartphones, no. They suck. Smartphone is like, camera, what's that? Mind you, the camera looks okay, you know. But when you actually have to use it, it sucks. This phone is so goddamn faulty, I swear. I just stood up for 10 minutes just trying to get the camera to play, but it crashed and crashed and crashed. But then after 7 attempts, it finally starts recording. Anyway, so fortunately you can actually see pretty good the 0 and the notch. Now, if you're looking at it, you're probably looking at it and say, hey, it's perfectly on. But that's the thing, this camera isn't really picking up on that good, delicious, sensitive information. It's actually off by just a little bit. Okay, my hand can't fit in there. Hand is fat. Okay, so let me go down here. I'm just gonna grab this by hand. Normally I use 2. It's gonna be very hard to do this in a control matter with 1. Yeah, that's probably off now. Even more off. So we go and we look, and it's terribly off. Truth be told, when the head was on, I actually spanned the crankshaft and watched the piston go up to the top. But I'm like, I know that's not gonna be 100%. Let's see if we can look from here. Ooh, we have a little view of our notch and our 0. How wonderful. Let's try to see if we could spin this thing a little. Oh yeah. Looking sweet. I think that's it. Okay, let's go check for the top. Whew. No, that's fucking off. I know a few of you are probably like, oh, you should have just left it in the first place. But no, I like for it to be perfectly perfect. Okay, so this angle that we're using is very misleading. Once again, since we're outside, bugs galore. Maybe. This is my dog, Allie. Hi, Allie. Please move. We're filming important videos. Okay, yeah, you like attention too much. Okay, bye. You can't help us. I think it's on. Let's check. Nope. Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a break. I mean, do this with 2 hands and then get back to you guys. Okay, guys, we are now perfectly on. So now we get to move over to, actually no. What we have to do now is, now that it's on, just going carefully, pulling this pulley off. Because, funny thing, the pulley and this plastic piece needs to be on for the timing to be set for top dead center on the crankshaft, but you can't put the belt in with all that stuff in the way. So now that that's off, let's go back to the top, get this baby in. Oh shit, hold on. I have 2 10mm bones that's supposed to go into this metal face. Let me put those in. Okay. That's one. It's gonna hand tighten it. Oh, the game for some reason. Garbagey. Oh wow. Horrible. Oh, tears. Yeah, this is the worst phone in existence. So, funny story, I just did a little video on the finish timing with this, and the phone jumps up and says after I stop the camera, insufficient storage space, that video can't be saved. So I'm like, what the hell? But it stops recording when it's full. So anyway, fuck it, let's just do this over again, but do it quicker. Okay, so here we go. I already timed this part, wanted to show you some stuff, but the camera didn't want to record, wasn't coming on, so I said, fuck it, you know, gotta do what data says. Data said no, so, yeah, wow. Okay, so there's our holes, one in the front, one in the back. Gonna put this in. Okay, there we go, boom. It's in, so we're good. Try to put it at angles, it's off. Put it in straight, boom, straight in. What I did to make this easy was, when I put it in there, just put a little bit of pressure on it, you know, to pushing this in. When the pulley was not in timing, I mean not in the right spot, I just kept one hand here, used my other hand, grabbed on this wrench, pulled it down until it lined up with the hole, and then it just zoop, went in. So I was like, okay, good, finished. Alright, so our camshafts are timed. This pulley gears are at the right timing spot. We're at top dead center with our crankshaft, so that's us. Okay, funny thing, when it didn't save because it said that I didn't have enough storage space, thing is, I actually did. It just had that error because I didn't delete anything. I just did that other recording and it saved fine. So, frustration levels. Okay, so let's get this timing belt on. So it's gonna go like this. Actually, to make this a little easier on me, I'm gonna put it around this pulley first. You know what? Let me just do this off camera. Okay, this is how the timing belt sits on there. To get this on, nice and easy, what I had to do is just take this spring for the tensioner off, then just slip the belt on, put it back on, and we are good to tighten everything down, because this is 100% timed. Awesome. Just awesome. Guys, I have tightened the tensioner bone. Make sure that pulley's bone is back on nice and tight. Everything looking pretty good. I just want to make a certain important side note about this. You see this some piece here? Well, this goes on here like this to make sure that the timing belt will not come back off when you put the, you know, the pulley on and all that good stuff. But if you look at this, you gotta realize that it bends in a direction on these ends here. You see, it has like a something like a lip that comes this way. You gotta make sure that you put it on so that that little bend in there is indeed coming this way towards me. You don't want to put this on backwards, because if you put this on backwards, one, you should be able to tell, because it shouldn't really sit nice and flat, but sometimes it could be a little difficult. But if you put that on backwards, that's going to dig into your timing belt, cause it to get a cut and then snap. And you know, we don't want that, because even though this is a non-interference engine, that means you're driving down the highway and then suddenly boom, dum, 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 car stops running. You gotta get a tow, and who wants to spend time with that, spend money with that? No. So let's just get it right so we don't have them problems. Okay, time to put the cover on. It's probably my favorite part of the job. Wrapping up, getting the hell up on out of here. I mean, mind you, I enjoy this to an extent, but it's kind of like a love-hate relationship. Like, I enjoy doing mechanic work, like I say, to an extent, but it's like I don't really love doing it, but I feel myself with a sort of calling for it. So it's almost like a little addiction, almost like weed or something. But it's like, okay, I'd rather be playing video games, right? But then if I don't do this for a while, I'm gonna keep feeling this urge inside me building up to do it. It's kind of weird. Hey guys, right here putting everything back together, and cool news. I also used the high temperature red grease, and as I'm looking at this crankshaft bone, I can see that there's still some left on it. I blew a lot of it off using the compressor because, you know, I ended up dropping it in the sand, so it got dirty. But to see that there was so much still on this is really cool to me, because it's right there on the crankshaft, and yeah, it's not a high heat area, but this car has been overheating like a lot, like crazy. So, you know, I feel like that's like, this thing really stands up to what it's supposed to do, you know, because that was really a lot of grease that was still on it. But I just don't see so much, because you know, I blew it off because it was full of sand, because I dropped the screw right there. So, yeah, we've got our pulley on now. We've got our belt on. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, cool. Yeah. That's a little wiggly because a lot of the pieces kind of broke off the plastic. I still keep it there. It's nice, holding on the bottom nice and secure, so it's not gonna come off. Let's see what next. Okay, so I'm gonna put the power steering belt back on. I put the AC and alternator belt not back on, because no alternator. So I'm putting the belt on, and I just thought I'd take this moment to show you a trick that I like to use. Not really a trick, but a method. I think it's like an old-time mechanic. My cousin, who is a mechanic, he went to university and everything. He's the mechanic for big time, the electrical company, BPL. Well, he was with them when they got BAC. I don't know if he's still with them, but yeah, he's a real good mechanic. And what he showed me was this universal belt tensioning method. Oh wow, this thing doesn't want to go on. Okay, okay. First of all, I gotta put it around the pulley because it's big, the part with the alternator, so I'm not gonna get it on if I put it on the power steering first. One-handed magic, people. One-handed magic. Okay, so getting it up there. Sorry that this is hard to see, but I mean this is relatively easy, so it's not all that important that I showed you how to put a belt on. Because like I said, it's easy. It's just difficult for me with my one-handed magic. Probably should have. No, I can't really even come any closer. Okay, there we go. So you see this is nice and slack. How wonderful. That's not wonderful actually. So for this 3S FE engine, it's kind of difficult for you to get the tension on the alternator, power steering, because you don't have like a tensioner when you screw it with a screw. You gotta like push it in place and then just lock it in with that bolt right there. So what I like to do is I take my breaker bar, which I use for so many different things, and I'll shucks, how did I do this? Okay, and I'll just loop between two pieces of metal, and let me switch hands, and I'll pry it. So I'm really trying to remember how I did this. Okay, for me to bring it out, you know, get the tension off of it, I take it here, I hook it into the pulley. Focus, damn you, they're trying to see. So when I'm taking it out, I hook it into this pulley here, like so, and have the breaker bar piece just, you know, touch against this piece of metal. Hard to see. And then I'd pry it out like so. But now I'm trying to get it tight. I'm trying to tighten this thing back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jam it up in here between the pulley and the body right there. And push. You can see the belt getting tighter. It's hard to see the power steering pump because of the awkward angle. This belt needs to change to its own cracked up. But I'm gonna do that later. Scotty Kilmore. Okay. And okay, here's the technique really. You want it to be tight enough so that when you spin it, when it goes like this, right? And you feel a lot of tension when it's right here. But it can't be able to flip all the way upside down. And that's about it. That's like the universal method for belt tensioning. You want to feel nice good pressure right here. Shouldn't really be able to do this. It's too loose. So let me put another on it. A little more of that elbow grease. Okay. Since this is like I have to push it, there's no tension. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to push it up with the breaker bar and tighten it at the same time, and I'm definitely gonna need 2 hands for that, so I'm gonna come right back to you. Okay guys, here we are, got everything nice and tight. Now once again, you want to turn it right here and feel a good tension. It could actually flip over like this, but you have to be trying to really force it, you know, and this still could hardly go all the way over, so that's good, because when I turn it just like this, feel like good tension. You know, it's really fighting back. But when I do it like that, also that's because this is a small belt. So, but yeah, you're gonna turn it like this. Be able to turn it this far. If you can't turn it this far, then it's too tight. But you wanna turn it like this and feel a nice, good fight back. It shouldn't be consensual. Bad news, guys. We had a casualty. There was just some tightening this guy up, and he just never came tight. And then suddenly the whole thing pulls out like yoink, surprise. And here are the threads on that bone, the aluminum. Oh my gosh, this sucks. And I don't know what to say. This was just a real surprise, because it's not like, you know, I was tightening it and it was getting tight, and then I was just like, yeah, you know what, let me put an extra 150 pounds on this. Yeah, it was just, you know, screw. Why is this taking so long? Boop. Oh. So, hopefully, I pray to God, that this doesn't sound like a motorboat right there, but the way that's positioned, and these other ones are nice and tight, you know, these ones are nice and tight, so hopefully this won't have any real effect. But if this does, then I'm probably gonna have to take this back off, drill this hole a little bit bigger, put a tap in there, get new threads, get a new bolt to go in there, and then put this on. Hopefully that doesn't happen though. Hopefully it'll just start, run quiet, run smooth, no leaks, no overheating, because I don't feel like doing that. So I just realized that this crankshaft pulley is generally something that's a little bit difficult for beginners, so let me just put a few words on this. To tighten it down, I don't actually torque my pulleys unless I'm doing it for like a customer, and I'll torque it down to be, you know, proper. But I just give this a good few quick spins with the breaker bar on it. You know, try to do it nice and fast, because generally they don't come off, you know, for me. If I'm a little worried about it coming off, I'll put some gasket shellac on the thread to act as thread locker, or I'll just put thread locker on the thread and then I'll put it in. But if you want to like torque it to spec, what you have to do is you'll have to get some sort of what I used to do is I used to feed rope in through the cylinder hole, I mean the spark plug hole, and after I give this a few turns, the rope, you know, blocks it up, so you could then tighten it up, and then after you get it nice and tight, then you turn it a little counterclockwise just to get the piston to come down off the rope, stop putting pressure on that, so you can pull the rope out. And when it comes to getting this off, what I do is I'll just have my setup here where I've got my, you know, my socket on it, my breaker bar. I'll angle the breaker bar like so against a piece of metal. Normally I'll have it more, say, for example, how this is. Oh wow, this doesn't want to come off. Get off. Ah, damn you. Okay. So, normally how I'll have it set up is I'll have this 19. Take it off, put it on this. And I'll say how that hole is there. Put that in through there. Then, this pulley. Come on, phone. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay. Put it on there. Okay. And now that everything's all nice and comfortable, everybody knows each other, I would go into the car, turn the key to activate the starter, which is going to spin this pulley clockwise, which actually, with this breaker bar holding onto it, spins the bolt counterclockwise, so the bolt comes out. I'm pretty sure I didn't catch that earlier, so I just wanted to make sure that was in here, so you guys know. Yeah. Alright, that's on, as good as I want it to be on. So, now I'm going to, okay, put this mud guard up. Now some of you might be like, oh, but you didn't put on the alternator belt yet, which I didn't, because there's no alternator to put a belt on as yet. But I'm just going to feed the belt down and put that on from the top. So I'm just going to do this guard. Anyway, I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me put on this mud guard with one hand, so yeah, time lapse. Hey guys, just put the alternator in. I didn't record that part, one, because I needed two hands, and two, because installing this alternator on this 3S FE engine is a real difficulty of 0. Now, where did they connect this from? Oh, here they are. But what I did want to show you is that when I'm dealing with taking down the head, you usually have to take the alternator off, which means you've got to take this positive plug off from the alternator. Now, what some people do is they'll say, hey, we're going to disconnect the battery. But in some cars, you can't really disconnect the battery because you've got all sorts of electronics. You've got the electronic throttle, which loses its memory once you unplug the computer. So what I've gotten into the habit of doing is I'll just take some electrical tape and I'll wrap around this positive cable so that there's no accidental sparks on that. And for me, it's just a lot easier. Plus, it's a much more universal thing. You could do it on all the cars, you know? You don't have to unplug the battery to, you know... something fluttering in front of my face. You don't have to unplug the battery and have to worry about all the repercussions the computer's going to give you on those little punishments the computer's going to bestow on you for doing that. Okay, so that's off. Now, just, whoop, close. Put your boy on there. Plug your boy in here. Although, I will also say this, some people say that it's good for you to disconnect the battery, because when you're plugging these sensors on and off, that you have problems. But I find once the vehicle is off, the sensors are off, so you don't really have any problems. But this is just a straight cable going to the positive, so this is always on, off your engine, but this is always connected to the positive. So if this touch the body, if anything, it's gonna spark, and if it ends up laying there, it's gonna get hot, could melt wires, could blow fuses, and kill your battery. So just put some electrical tape on it. It's the easiest thing to do. Hey, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I really hate metal gaskets because they just have the highest chance of leaking. Like, if you do just a little bit off, it's not forgiving at all. So especially for beginners, I wouldn't suggest them. Yeah. So I have this metal gasket. I'm about to put it back in, but it's been used. So what I do is I just put some gasket shellac on it to give it a better chance. You know, there we go, indeed head shellac. I also use this as a thread locker, and basically whenever I'm using metal gaskets, if I'm not putting anything else on it, I'll just use this. It works really good. It's cheap. Keep it in your toolbox. It'll help you out a lot. So gonna put that metal gasket right here, the water line, because I do not want to have to take this back off to deal with any type of leaks. Okay, let me try to finish up. Hey guys, we had another casualty. This is why you should take that windshield wiper assembly and motor on that good stuff at the top off. Because when I was trying to slide the head in, not only did I need 3 people, one on each side to hold the head, so we could try to rest it in as nice and accurate as possible, and then a 3rd person to hold the light and move wires and stuff. Still end up knocking this top piece here and breaking this nozzle off. And like I said, we on a budget, and we still on a budget. So instead of replacing this, I put some hot glue on it. But we all know cars could get a little hot under the hood, so I'm going to be reinforcing this in a minute. With this, because it's the only glue I got. That went well. Okay guys, here we are, everything put together, running like a dream, but there's one problem. Right there in the gasket, that engine head gasket is actually leaking water. So I think that's from so much silicone being there. I probably have to tighten it down a little bit more than normal. So I'm gonna do that. Yep, leaking water, leaking oil. I have to turn the idle down as well. Yeah, so that gas is still definitely leaking. That smoke you see is from a little bit of oil that got on the exhaust, and now that the exhaust is warm, it's burning off. Don't mind the whistling, it's just because I have all of this air intake, body, filter, assembly stuff off. So the little holes are supposed to be there. Yeah. Hey guys, okay, so I'm tightening down the head, not taking it out. Then I'm gonna run it again, see what happens. So since I'm only tightening down, I don't have to take everything out. So I've already got the exhaust camshaft out. The intake is all loosened up, but to take that out. I left the alternator in, along with the Mustangs. So yeah, just had to take off that cover here, timing belt, take the gear off, so you know could get this out. So yeah. Pretty good. Injectors don't have to come off, wires don't have to come off, hoses don't have to come off. So, yeah, now I'm just gonna take that out and start tightening. Okay guys, so I was getting some inaccurate readings with the torque wrench because it was already so tight that, you know, it wasn't really registering properly on the wrench. Meaning, I know it's not at 60 pounds because I'm taking from 47 to 60, I guess, to compensate with the silicone. I'm just gonna give that a try. I know it's not gonna be a problem because I had a Nissan, same size screws. Actually, the new screws for the Nissan were a bit smaller. Thread had the same length, and those were, I torqued them down to somewhere over 90. I think I was like around 130 for those Nissans, but anyway, what I'm saying is that the screws are same size, same length of thread, so 60 pounds shouldn't really be anything for those. Got my handy dandy piece of pipe because trying to put that much torque using this little ratchet is like hell. So anyway, what I did is I totally loosened up the bolts so that I could just torque them down from the beginning again to make sure I get a nice accurate reading. And for those who are unused to using the torque wrench, what you want to do is you want to do it step by step, and you want to keep that like a consistent flow, because if you stop it and then go to start again, you might find that as soon as you're trying to start, it'll click, and that might make you think that, hey, okay, it's tightened to where it's supposed to be. But no, because to get it to start moving, it has to go above that torque in actuality. So yeah, I just did it from the beginning so I can make sure I get a nice, smooth, consistent motion, so while it's in the motion, when I hear the click, I know it's accurate. So as you guys can see, we no longer have those water leaks. So before it made itself pretty obvious that it was leaking from the head, it was just pouring down. But now, nothing. I tell you, it's just too beautiful. The water down here is from where this freeze plug is leaking. So, yeah, gonna have to do something about that. And over here, we have the thermostat housing doing a little leaking. Gotta do that. But wonderfully, our engine head is no longer leaking. Sorry, fly was getting all over my face, so I had to, you know, fight him off, show him who is boss. I'm trying to show you the water level here, so you can see that it's not really going down. It's going to be going down like ever so slowly because of those two little drips that we have from the freeze plug that's leaking, and the thermostat housing, how it has a leak, but no big leaks. Sorry, here we go. We got no big leaks. Really just tapping that out. Very warm. So yeah. What I'd also like to say is on the camshafts, I do grease the lobes. I only showed me greasing the journals where the bearings come into contact, but I do grease the lobes as well. Also, this is running over a little bit, I guess it's because I haven't really ran it like that since I put the water in, so really getting warm. Not 100% about that. Or just with this. Let's see if I can get some of that air out. Get this thing to behave. Making me wonder if it might be leaking a bit of pressure, but I think we're good. I'm gonna take it for a test drive shortly. Hey guys, so sorry for that cut off a moment ago. The camera is acting up as always, but the engine's running pretty good. The smoke you're seeing here is some of the liquids and stuff that I got on the exhaust. They're just running off. The engine sounds pretty healthy. It's under pressure and still no leak down here with the head gasket. But it's running, you know, getting warm pretty quick because the fans aren't working. I'm gonna have to do that too. So I guess I'll do that in another video, or maybe not. This video actually took me about four days to make. 5 if I don't finish it up today. But yeah, so far so good. We actually pulled it off with our crappy RTV Silicone instead of taking it to the shop and getting it shaved up. Now, you guys, this was an experiment. I don't really suggest you do this at home, or definitely not on your customers' cars, because you know that's really shabby. So yeah, hooray, it worked. But some of you might be in a pinch. Who knows? Might be like a cool trick that saves you for some reason. I don't know. Well, I didn't take it for that test run yet. I did it backwards and forwards, just swing it around so I could put some air on the tires. You know, fix the fans, because the fan has actually caused the head to go bad in the first place. But to be honest, it filled me with such joy to press the gas pedal right and feel that take off again, like that good compression that just vroom, you know, as your car slowly goes backwards and then starts to pick up and then, you know, go. And then you have to shift it again forwards, and then it starts to do the same thing, and you slowly go forwards, and it picks up more, and then okay, again, reverse. No, just vroom, 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 you know? Nothing super, just regular car, you know? A good engine head type stuff. But anyway, let me get into fixing these fans now. Alrighty, back outside again, got the handy dandy soldering iron. I'll tell you why I've got that in a moment. And we're about to fix up the fans. This fan has a shortage, which is why I had the heating problem. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, it's unreliable. Oh, fuck, hit my head to this. Anyway, this is the AC fan. This one works totally fine. Now, these are both universal fans. These are not the OEM fans. Personally, from my experience, after using these, this is the first vehicle I've used these on. Normally I'd fix the motor and blah blah blah. But I would not suggest you use these at all, as it's been quite a ride with these things. First of all, the mounting brackets aren't worth shit, so they work with basically 1% of vehicles right now, or at least from what I see, because that stuff doesn't line up at all. Tried on a Honda, tried on a couple Toyotas, with customers who brought them here. Shh, I'm not. Anyway, what was I saying? Sorry. Oh yeah, these things they don't mount well at all. So what you have to do is use these zip ties. These are like the best way to get these things on here and keep them there stable. Because even if you get the brackets on, the ones that I had on, they snapped off because they were like, you know, not a perfect fit. So they just snapped off eventually. I guess from the vibration and stuff. This is okay, got it. Zip ties, or whatever you call it. You've got to use those. Those are the best thing I found of getting it on. But the problem is this: you put it through the hole here on the fan, wherever you want to put it, and you put it through one of these loops. And the idea is you want to get the zip tie to go from one side of this to the next side. Hold on to this firm bar here, not just the fin alone. To hold on to the radiator, so you know, as it spins, it cools. But the problem is these fins are better kept in good condition, not mashed down like this, because these are really what makes your radiator work so well. And using these universal fans guarantees that you're gonna have to bend a few of them. Now mind you, just having a few of them bent doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Okay, camera stopped recording, didn't even tell me. I'm not too sure where I left off. I think it was talking about this. having a few of these bent doesn't make too much of a difference, but hey, like I say, it's better to keep it in mint condition, I think. You know, that's just my 2 cents. Soldering iron, I was using this to take off the old ones, because sometimes you just can't really get a razor in there to cut it, and you don't really want to be fumbling too much on there, so I tend to just use the soldering iron to just put it on there lightly and burn it, and then I just pull it and the whole thing comes off. Nicely done. Nicely done. Anyway, let's get into it. Yeah, I know. No, I'll do it. Well guys, I have to apologize. Some of the footage that I wanted to capture I didn't really get to capture because I needed both my hands, and then the phone camera was freaking out again. But they're in. I have 2 of the zip ties on each fan. This fan works sometimes whenever it feels like this one's consistent. Had to do a little bit of junky wiring. Not sure if I should explain that, but anyway, the ground wires for this go here, and in the fuse box I have the spot where the positive connects, but relays move because something's wrong with my computer. I gotta get that sorted out, so I just did this to bypass it. So what happens is once the car is in the on position, the fan just automatically come on, and it's still protected by the fuse because the fuse is in there, so good stuff. But I generally don't like for the fan to stay on like that because it wears them out quicker. And these are aftermarket universal fans, so God knows how long they'll last. Actually, I'm gonna be doing a test to see how long they last. I mean, they don't really seem like very great quality. They don't seem all that reliable. They're a bit of a hassle to put in. I mean, they're easy to put it in, but they cause problems. They cause problems, I feel. I mean, not like serious problems, but like I mentioned earlier with the frills. So yeah. That's the wiring. I have the fans in. I had to gas up my AC. Got a little leak. Can't seem to find it. Maybe I'll post that in a future video. But yeah, I'm gonna take it for a test drive and see how we're doing. Run the AC. See if I could, feel on fly in my own car. Okay guys, came time for the test run. Just got my $10 gas right over there because we ballin', and here we go. Well guys, here we are test running the vehicle. So far so good. Everything is going fine and dandy. You run on the wrong side, jeez. So the car moving so slow, I figured there's more traffic on the opposite side. Damn it. Anyway, we're looking pretty good, guys. No ticks, no clacks, no hesitation. Just some good driving. Awesome. Now let me stop recording before I get locked up.